In a highly anticipated interview on Monday, British broadcaster Piers Morgan grilled white nationalist Nick Fuentes on some of his most racist, anti-Semitic, and misogynistic views, including if the 27-year-old still stood by his public claim that Nazi leader and genocidal maniac Adolf Hitler was f***ing cool.
Hitler was a...
Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have a banger reaction video. I didn't really take a look through all of this, but it's Piers Morgan roasts Nick Fuentes for praising Hitler and being a virgin. If you guys haven't seen this full-length interview, it came out yesterday, or I guess 2 days ago if you're watching this now. And Piers Morgan had Nick Fuentes on, and it was what you expected. You know, it was kind of an ambush. Got together a bunch of clips, kind of taken out of context of, you know, Nick saying, you know, Hitler's cool. That, you know, they were talking a little bit about the Holocaust, about race realism. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. It was actually pretty interesting. You know, I have my own thoughts about Nick, but I thought he performed pretty well. You know, he doubled down on everything. He didn't really have another choice, but really made it, I guess, kind of normalized it to the mainstream, whether for better or worse. But yeah, let's check out this other hit piece. I don't even know what channel this is, but let's check it out.
pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool.
Do you regret saying that?
Saying a fact? No, that's absolutely true.
You think Hitler was very fucking cool?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, one of them.
And I'm tired of pretending he's not.
Fuentes, who has repeatedly praised Hitler and claimed the Holocaust that killed more than 6 million Jews never happened, went on to claim that Morgan's hatred of Hitler and contempt over the genocide of the Jewish people was overblown.
But let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster. This has been the political narrative, which is why we have thrown open the borders. This is a political narrative, which is why we can't be a conservative society as a whole anymore, why we can't be proud of Europeans, why we can't be proud of being Christian, because they've told us if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, our entire lives.
Honestly, Nick
it's true,
Fuentes,
and that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is bull.
The interview eventually moved on to Fuentes' view on women, claiming he doesn't believe women should have equal rights to men, all while Morgan questioned the podcaster's sexuality.
Are you actually attracted to women?
I am attracted to women.
You're not gay?
No. But I will say that women are very difficult to be around.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
I do not. No, absolutely not.
I know I'm the boomer here, but actually you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women,
I am.
All women are annoying. All women grow old. They all get fat. Says the guy, have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow, says the guy who's never got laid.
Fuentes, a white national.
Okay, to be honest, like, why does Piers have to bring up his like sexuality, even whatever? But why? Like, why are you attacking a guy half your age and like saying these things? And it's like a slam dunk. Oh, look, he's never gotten laid, so he's saying this stuff. So he has a resentment for women. I mean, really, Piers. It just made Piers look bad. I mean, a few clips he kind of got him, especially at the start, I guess. You know, kind of just bringing up these things. But I mean, Nick started doubling down on everything, and you can't say much. You can't say much when he's like, yeah, that's me. I said that. I stand by that. And Piers was kind of flabbergasted, so he had to, I guess, take some low blows at the end of the day. You know, ask about his sexuality, or, you know, the first question was about his father, like saying something that Olive Garden and Red Lobster are, you know, usually black people go and eat there, which is, I mean, it's fucking true. So why are you bringing it up in his family? Piers Morgan is just that kind of interviewer. He's just a slimy guy. Any interview you see with a controversial figure, his show's called Uncensored, but then he ambushes them, puts up these like setup questions, and it's very clear what his views are. Like, obviously he shares them a little bit, but it's called Uncensored, and he's supposedly for free speech, but then somebody says something with their free speech and he wants them to be censored, or he tries to slander them so their life gets ruined. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Leads a movement known as the Groypers and has been banned from multiple platforms. Groypers, or the Groyper Army, according to the Anti-Defamation League, are far-right followers of Fuentes who believe in preserving white, European-American culture and hold racist and anti-Semitic beliefs. The 27-year-old far-right influencer has been extremely controversial and has become synonymous with expressing anti-Semitic sentiment, espousing disgustingly sexist views like claiming that women want to be raped, denying the Holocaust, and grousing that the GOP is run by Jews, atheists, and homosexuals.
A lot of women want to be raped, and when I say raped, I mean like, that sounds bad when I say it like that, but there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. Everybody raise your right hand, repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
It is Heil Hitler Friday, Heil Hitler, all my niggas Nazis.
Morgan was notably much tougher on...
All right, look, taking those clips out of context, I see why it would make someone look bad. And look, I'm not condoning anyone here. I don't agree or disagree. I'm just here to give my honest thoughts about the video. You should still be able to say, we should still have free speech and be able to say what you want. But yeah, I mean, you saying things, and what I've learned is obviously they will still come with actions, but you shouldn't fear for your life or feel threatened with your life. But let's say, a job wants to fire you for you saying something on the internet, yeah, that should be allowed, because I mean, that's their company. They want to have a certain branding, certain look for their company. But slandering someone like this, taking clips out of context or taking clips from 8 years ago, like really, like people evolve, people grow. Even me, like 9 months ago, if people pull up clips from that, and it's like, yeah, bro, I've evolved already. So imagine 8 years from now, like, oh shit, I wish I didn't say those things, but I did because I was younger. I don't know how that's a slam dunk.
On Fuentes than Tucker Carlson, who garnered backlash over his softball interview of the white nationalist. During the more than 2-hour interview between Carlson and Fuentes, which has racked up more than 18 million views on X, Carlson didn't push back, as Fuentes called himself a fan of Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin.
It's December 18th. I remember because that's an important date to me. And it's Joseph Stalin's birthday.
Oh.
I'm a fan.
You're a fan of Stalin's?
Mm-hmm. Always an admirer. But we don't need to go into that, I guess.
Well, that's, okay, let's get back to it. We'll circle back to that.
Denounced the influence of, quote, organized Jewry in U.S. politics.
Putting aside the tribal interest for the corporate interest,
Yes.
That's absolutely the case. And that's the only way the country's going to stay together.
Exactly.
And
That's my concern.
And I absolutely agree with you. I would say, though, that the main challenge to that, a big challenge to that, is organized Jewry in America.
While Carlson accused American Christians who support the state of Israel of being heretics with a brain virus.
And I think that neoconservatism, where does it arise from? It arises from Jewish leftists who were mugged by reality when they saw the surprise attack in the Yom Kippur War.
Yeah, well, that's a lot of it, for sure. But then, like, how do you explain Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, and there are a lot like that, John Bolton. I mean, I've known them all, George W. Bush, like Karl Rove. I mean, all people I know personally who I've seen, like, be seized by this brain virus, and they're not Jewish.
The Carlson-Fuentes interview was met with backlash, especially among Christian and Jewish conservatives. Will Chamberlain, the VP of External Affairs for the Edmund Burke Foundation, which organizes the National Conservatism Conference, called Carlson's interview with Fuentes a profound betrayal to his friend Charlie Kirk, who he says saw Fuentes as vermin, one of the worst people in the space. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee also took to X after Carlson name-dropped him in his interview with Fuentes, writing, "Wasn't aware that Tucker despises me. I do get that a lot from people not familiar with the Bible or history. Somehow I will survive the animosity." Huckabee also got some support from Senator Ted Cruz, who jumped in on X, writing, "Mike Huckabee is a pastor and a patriot who loves America, loves Israel, and loves Jesus. I'm proud to be in his company." During the Republican Jewish Coalition Leadership Summit on November 1st, Florida Congressman Randy Fine attacked Carlson head-on, calling the podcast host the most dangerous anti-Semite in America, all while the congressman surrounded himself with students holding signs that read, "Tucker is not MAGA."
Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America. He has chosen He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern-day Hitler Youth, to broadcast and feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions. Friends, make no mistake, Tucker is not MAGA.
Like, bro, see, this is why it doesn't work anymore. I mean, they call him the leader of the Hitler Youth just because he criticizes Israel's influence in the U.S. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Like, this is why Israel doesn't have that much support as it used to. That's just the reality. I mean, we see the left and the right not supporting them. And this isn't helping them. These whatever the fuck they're doing right here, Tucker's not MAGA, that's not helping them.
But the anti-Carlson movement among Republicans came to a head when Ben Shapiro, a popular conservative commentator who also founded the Daily Wire, released a lengthy monologue denouncing Carlson for acting as a main agent in legitimizing Fuentes, who he accused of purposely trying to fragment the political right. Shapiro went on to argue that Carlson was a, quote, ideological launderer, softening the hate-filled rhetoric of figures like Fuentes and making their talking points acceptable within the GOP.
Americans hate Nick Fuentes' philosophy. They think it's trash. Americans hate Tucker Carlson's laundered anti-Americanism. Republicans think it's trash. Independents think it's trash. Democrats think it's trash. Americans are not pro-segregation, pro-rape, anti-woman, pro-child marriage, anti-black, anti-Jew, anti-Indian, anti-Latino, anti-Constitution, pro-Hitler nutjobs like Nick Fuentes. And Americans are not pro-Putin, pro-Iran, pro-China, pro-Venezuela, pro-Hamas, pro-Fuentes, pro-Tate idiots like Tucker Carlson. They hate this vile garbage. If Republicans decide to cower before the likes of neo-Nazis and their propagandizers, they deserve to lose.
Shapiro branded Carlson an intellectual coward, a dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend, charging that the podcaster has become the most virulent super spreader of vile ideas in America.
Tucker denies he said anything controversial at all. He was just asking questions. He was just interviewing people. You don't want him to cancel people, do you? Of course, there is no First Amendment right to a Tucker Carlson sensual massage. But to listen to Tucker, you'd think there was, so long as you despise America, oppose President Trump's foreign policy, and bear a peculiar dislike of Jews. Tucker Carlson, you see, is a coward.
Fuentes also went on his Rumble live show to respond to Shapiro's monologue, criticizing the conservative commentator for trying to cancel him.
I thought Shapiro was against SJWs. Now he sounds like one of them. I thought he was against liberal tears and cancel culture and safe spaces. Now you sound like one of them.
Carlson addressed the mass criticism during an interview with libertarian stand-up comedian and commentator Dave Smith, and criticized Shapiro as a man of limited talent.
And now we're getting into what Ben Shapiro used to celebrate, that fabled marketplace of ideas, and he's going to go bankrupt in that marketplace because there's very little support for his position, which is fundamentally lobbying on behalf of a foreign country. And
yeah, I mean, whether I agree more with Tucker, Nick, or Ben, that's pretty irrelevant. But like, this is why people are straying away from the Republican Party, from like the mainstream GOP. Because I mean, Ben Shapiro, I remember I used to watch him, like, oh, he dunks on these liberals, you know, they're anti-free speech. But then, you know, Tucker and Nick have a conversation, regardless of what you think about their views. It's like, why can't they talk? Why can't he platform somebody with an opposing view that clearly a lot of people agree with and align with? Suddenly it's dangerous to have that kind of rhetoric. Suddenly they're playing the opposite game. Now it's the woke right telling you what you can and can't say, when they used to be the party of free speech, right? So I mean, it's just it really shows a lot. It really shows a lot what these people actually care about, what their intentions are, and once you start criticizing certain things, what happens to you. That should be a really big tell. But yeah, it was a very interesting interview. I recommend people check it out. Whether you agree with him or not, that's irrelevant, like I said. But just to hear a different perspective from people, and I think we should have an open marketplace of ideas, and may the best one win. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the algorithm. And see you all next time.